now it's out. This is what we said on Sunday. Daryl is not a guy who trades a star for parts.
Right.
How does this play out? You have James Harden now who's played at, 14, 15 million less than he was worth last year. Apparently had to do that again this year. And Daryl's doing the hardball thing. But he's doing hardball. This time it's not with Ben Simmons, who's 24 years old, coming off an all-defense season, all that stuff. This is James Harden, who wasn't awesome in the playoffs, who seems like he's aging not that great, who makes a fair amount of money. And I don't think other teams in the league are like, oh, cool, here's our top 40 player for yours. So what happens?
I think he goes back to the Sixers. I really do. I mean, and I'll tell you what, it's been such a weird week. I had this epiphany where it's like we've done all these podcasts about you want Norm Powell and Terrence Mann, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. And it starts at Paul George, and then you start talking yourself into all these other things. Then I saw all these pictures from Michael Rubin's white party.
Yeah.
And it's just Harden with Joel, Maxey, Tobias, and hanging out with Josh Harris, who owns the team, and looking like he's having a blast. And I'm like, do I take this stuff too seriously?
Yeah.
And like, is he just going to be back? And like, or do we all like kind of put all of this psychology onto these trades and onto these trade demands where it's like, are they just going to take him back and that's fine? And they're just going to come back on a 2+1 or something like that.
They can't extend him now though, is the problem.
Right. Well, he'll opt in, but like,
he already opted in.
Yeah, I know. He'll opt in, but is he going to like...
They wink it.
Yeah, and is it going to be one of those things where he basically like, is he going to show up 30 pounds overweight and pretend like his hamstring's torn like he did with the last two teams he played for? Or is this actually going to just be, you know what? We tested the market. Maybe feelings got hurt, but it seems like we've all like water under the bridge and let's try it again. And that seems like what it's going to be.
So you're saying his prior history of basically completely torpedoing two different teams has you a little worried.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But it also seems like maybe like when we watch these trade demands take place in public, like the Lillard thing or whatever, then it's like behind the scenes, it's much more professional in business than we'd like to think it is. I think because fans have such personal investment in the teams that we think it's all heartbreak, but it's not. I think maybe it's just like Harden's just going to come back and be like, oh, well, I tried, and they'll be like, no big deal. Come on back, James.
But that happened last year with Durant.
Of course it did, yeah.
Where he kind of came back and it was like,
I tried to get the coach fired.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, everybody. Let's go. Let's play some ball. I think the difference, and this is why I think with Portland, with the Dame situation, they don't end up trading him this summer. You're leveraging somebody's love for their sport kind of against them.
Yes.
Where KD, he just likes basketball too much. He wasn't going to sit out until they traded him. He respects the game too much.
Yeah.
And I think Dame is wired the same way. So Portland knows they have that. I did think there was that part in that Woj story today about where Aaron Goodman's like, be careful to the other teams.
You're trading for an unhappy player.
You'd be trading for an unhappy
Miami.
guy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's fine. But I just think Dame loves basketball, whereas Harden, I'm not sure sometimes.
Right.
And that's where it gets dangerous for Philly because you have this Embiid window and Harden can say whatever he wants now, but what happens if he comes back in October? He's 30 pounds overweight.
Right.
He starts pulling the James Harden stuff and now you've lost another.
Or if he just like winds up playing for Nick Nurse and Nick Nurse is like, you have to move without the ball. And he's just like, I don't know if you've seen my tape. I don't do that. Like that, like that'll be like a real like rubber hits the road moment for the team.
Are we sleeping on the Nick Nurse piece of this too? The guy won the title.
Yeah. You mean to fix him?
No, just in general. Like, when was the last time you had like a really good, innovative coach?
Yeah, and Nick Nurse comes from like the Houston. He was a Houston G League or D League coach back in the day. Yeah. He comes from the Daryl school of thought. Like there is presumably an idea there where they're like, we know how to maximize James in a way that Doc maybe didn't.
Would you see like he's coaching your G League team? I love Doc. Doc's not coaching the G League team.
I know.
Doc's like, hey man, I'm going away. Let me know how it goes. Send me some clips.
I know. Jaden Springer, who's like a big like Sixers fan favorite. Like we're like, why didn't Doc ever play this kid?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, Nick was out there stopping drills, showing us how to do things differently. I had never had that before. And it's like, oh no. Shit.
That's hilarious. We were in that with Doc with the Celtics. There was this Rondo's first year when we were terrible. And he just really didn't play Rondo that much. And we were like, wait, there's something here with that Rondo guy. And didn't really fully understand it. And then Rondo, they needed him and he became Rondo. But he's that old generation of like, prove to me. I think Steve Kerr's like this.
Roll the ball out.
Yeah. Hey, rookie, prove to me you can earn minutes on my court and play defense and do all the right things. I think you're right. I think a combination of Daryl's stubbornness and the fact that the media and our whole culture of how we deal with this stuff probably blows this stuff out a little bit.
Yeah.
Harden opting in, hoping to force Philly's hand, but also knowing he's not getting that money anywhere else.
None of the principals in this story have given like an on-record interview where they're like, here's what's happened. This is all conjecture. It's all sources say. It's all reporting from anonymous sources about Harden's camp, Sixers camp, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the truth is in this. It sounds like Harden made a pretty impulsive decision to opt in, without knowing that he didn't have the Houston offer. It sounds like he opted in to just be like, well, fuck you guys. You guys figure it out. Like, I don't want to be here. Now trade me to the Clippers. But
it'd be funny if he opted in at like 2 a.m. He'd been out all night. It's like, fuck these guys, I'm opting in. And then
do you
the next
think
day he's like, what did I do?
Is like buying something on Instagram. You're just like, I opt in. I have an app.
It's like when you buy something on eBay or something, the next day you're like, wait, I just bought the entire Godfather set on Blu-ray. I already have it.
I don't have a Blu-ray player.
I don't have a Blu-ray player anymore. I wonder if it gets a little heated. There's some posturing, but ultimately he stays. And if he stays, it's great for Philly. You got him at a good price.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay him long term.
Somebody was talking recently about like the longer this goes on, the more the Clippers come into play, I think, where it's like maybe they start thinking more about, do we really want to run this back? Because I think Zach and Hollinger were talking about this, where the Clippers haven't done anything. And that like as the Western Conference teams get stronger and stronger, especially the Lakers, they might have to look in the mirror and be like, so we're just going to do this again, but without Eric Gordon.
Right. And basically hope that this is the year those two guys stay healthy. I think I did that in the first segment about Ballmer, that there's a desperation with them.
Mm-hmm.
There's some on the clock stuff this year, but with them, it's, will the fan base accept, all right, year 5, maybe this will be the year everything falls into place.
And I think
work
Harden would be a great Clipper. I honestly do. I think he's like, it's the perfect player for the franchise.
Well, if you were able to get Powell and Mann and like 2 of their first for James Harden, like some 130 cents of the dollar trade.
Yes. This is what I was like for Simmons too. So I think I'm in the minority of Sixers fans.
Yeah.
Where I would have been fine with like CJ McCollum and some other stuff, or, like obviously Halliburton would have been the dream in retrospect, but I'm fine with Harden for Terrence Mann and Norm Powell. Like that to me actually works pretty well within the Sixers. Like Terrence Mann and Tyrese Maxey as a backcourt sounds pretty good.
Yeah, all the Clipper fans loved him.